is doing? Alhamdulillah. I hope and pray that you're all doing well as we are hearing the 7th day of the month of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah. I know it is very hard for all of us. If I can ask everybody to mute their mics, please. And you can click on it and answer, inshallah ta'ala, any questions that I may have. First of all, I like to welcome you all to the meeting, to our halaqah. And I hope that you guys are having a good time, inshallah ta'ala, with your Ramadan. During the month of Ramadan, our halaqahs will be a bit shorter because it's very close to the iftar time. So we will give some chance, inshallah ta'ala, to everyone to go and help their parents and prepare the table and set up the dishes on the table and so on and so forth. So we will end the halaqah, inshallah ta'ala, around 7:42. So it will be about 20-25 minutes long, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. So today I would like to talk to you about something that probably most of you might know it, but at the same time also some of you may not be aware of it. What I'd like to talk about today is selflessness. In Arabic, we call it ithar. Ithar. And that is the closest word to ithar in English is, there are two words actually. One word is altruism and one is selflessness. So anybody knows what does selflessness mean, or what do you think of when you hear the word selflessness? If you know it, just click your mic and answer.
Somebody needy. Somebody needy and makes donation to somebody else.
Prioritizing others before yourself. Mama.
Oh.
It's one different.
Public lecture for kids. Yumna and Isra said, "What's going on?" Those with like smoke spitting on them.
Okay. And that's
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I apologize for the disconnection. There was a problem with the internet, so we are back again. So basically, selflessness means that you put the needs of other people ahead of your need, especially when you are in a dire need of something. That is selflessness. If we look and can I please
Assalamu alaikum.
Can I please ask everyone to mute their mics, please? Thank you very much.
يلا تعال.
Thank you very much. Please mute your mics. Thank you. Okay, so putting the needs of others ahead of your need. Okay, this is different than being generous. It is different than being, considerate of other people's need. It is different than donating. This is a very exceptional. Please mute your mic, please. Thank you. It's an exceptional form of donation when you put the needs of other people ahead of your need. And we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about these people or this great characteristic of selflessness, ithar, altruism in the Quran, in the story of the Ansar and the Muhajirin, Surah Al-Hashr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين تبوأوا الدار والإيمان من قبلهم يحبون من هاجر إليهم ولا يجدون في أنفسهم حاجة مما أوتوا ويؤثرون على أنفسهم ولو كان بهم خصاصة ومن يوق شح نفسه فأولئك هم المفلحون. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praising the people of Medina, the Ansar, that they are the dwellers of Medina, and they welcomed their brothers and sisters, the Muhajirin, the people from Mecca who were forced out of their town, and they left their homes and their properties and their belongings in Mecca, and they came to Medina. So the people of Ansar, what they did is that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ requested them if they can help the Muhajirin, and guess what they did? They all agreed to share their properties, even though that some of them were poor, some of them barely had anything to survive. They all shared what they had with the Muhajirin, even though that they were in a dire need. Subhanallah. And we see that also that who was the person who was or who spoke about their characteristic of altruism or selflessness. Who told us about the selflessness of the Ansar? That they were giving, even though that they were in a dire need, and that they were giving it without even hesitation. Who would know about what's in your heart? Did Prophet Muhammad Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the only one who knew about it. So it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who told us about these people. Today, and because of the shortage of time, I will tell you a quick short story. I received a video clip, and I have to be honest with all of you, watching it, it brought me to tears. So it is the story of a woman, a mother of 3 children from Yemen. She had to flee the country, her country, Yemen, because of the war that has erupted there. There is fighting, there are bombs all over, the houses are destroyed. So she had to basically take her children, and guess what happened with her is that she could not bring her oldest child. Believe he was 12 or 13 years old. She had to only bring the 10-year-old, and also the little one who was only 5 or 6 months old. So she had to basically sail and she had to sell everything she had.
Subjin. My dad.
Could you please mute the mic? She had to sell everything that she had so that she can leave Yemen. I don't think that she did that with her own choice. She had to do it to save her life and the life of her children. But when she came to sail the boat, the people who were offering or doing the sailing, or who were the owners of the boats or the ships that were taking people across the sea, across the Red Sea, they told her that she does not have enough money to bring 4 people. So they only allowed her and her daughter, who's 10 years old, and then the little baby who's about 5-6 months old. And they all sailed together. They came to Somalia, and now she is in Somalia. So someone from a relief organization made an interview with her. She was sitting on one of the streets of Somal, and she was selling. This mother was selling some baked items that she was making at home, and of course she was struggling to pay her rent. Her children are not going to school. They don't have iPads and iPods like we do. They do not have fancy homes like we do. So she was living in a very dire condition. And remember, she left behind her oldest child, a 12, 13-year-old son. She left him in Yemen. And she also spoke in the interview, and she said that her mother is also suffering from an illness, and she needs to do a surgery. Now, the whole point of the story, why I'm telling you the story, is that someone from a charitable relief organization approaches her, and someone else is recording it. So he comes in and he sits in front of her while she's selling her baked items on the street. He comes to her, and she wonders, if he came to buy something from her. So he starts asking her, how are you making? How is life? And she starts talking about, she doesn't complain. She doesn't complain. With everything that she says, she says, Alhamdulillah, things are fine. Alhamdulillah, we have what we need. Alhamdulillah. And then, the man starts trying to push her to say something, because he knows that she's in a dire situation, that she's, she doesn't have a good place to live. And she is in a dire situation. She is perhaps, a poor and needy person, subhanAllah, because of she left everything behind. She sold everything that she had. So the lady asks this man, and says that, what brings you here? What is it that brought you here? So he says that, we're trying to help some, elderly people who are on the street, and we're trying to shelter them. So I'm collecting donation for that. Okay. So subhanallah, now imagine this lady is trying to survive, and she's trying to also arrange and collect money out of her own earning, her own baked items, her own hard work. She is trying to survive, and she's also trying to help her help her son to join her from Yemen. And she is also at the same time trying to help her mother survive, because her mother needs a surgery and they don't have the money to do the surgery. Look at that. How blessed we are here to be in Canada, to have all these things around us. And if something happens to any one of us, we call 911 and the ambulance is right our doorsteps, and we are rushed to the hospital, and we don't get charged to be in the hospital and to have a surgery. So alhamdulillah, we have so many blessings around us. So when the man tells her that he's collecting money and donations for needy people, subhanallah, what really hit me hard and what brought me to tears is the lady. She pulls out a pouch. And there's some notes, some money in it. And while she's pulling the pouch out, someone else comes, and buys one of her baked items. So the man who came to interview her looks at her and says, what do you have in that pouch? As she says, this is what I have, what I have made so far today from selling these baked items. And the man looks at her and says that, so what are you thinking? So she says that, I wanna give you some money to help those people. So the man starts laughing and he says, but you are in more need for it. So the lady looks at her and says, you know what? I learned that even if you are in a dire need, if you give, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you back, and he will give you more than what you give. And she starts counting the money that she has, and of course, it's not much at all. So she counts and she gives the man in the Somali currency 10,000. So the man looks at her and says that you are giving me 10,000. So how much have you made so far today? So she says, I made about close to 20. I think she said 23 or 25,000. So he looks at her and he says that, so you are giving away half of what you made? And then she smiles and she says, yes, because probably the people that will receive this money are in more need than I am in. Subhanallah. This is a very touching story. And at that moment, the man, subhanallah, pulls his backpack off his shoulder, and he takes an envelope full of notes and gives it to this lady and says that this is a gift that came to you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And she opens the envelope and there's a whole bunch of money in it. And she, of course, she bursts into tears, in dismay, in shock and in disbelief. She couldn't believe her eyes, and she thought that the man was making a joke of her. And so the man tells her, no, I'm not. We are here. I work for a relief organization, and we have been watching you, and we saw, we know where you live, and you are a mother, who is in a dire, desperate situation, and we were seeing if, how, would you be, willing to share what you have with others, even though that you are in this kind of desperate situation. So what we learn from the story, as we are coming very close to the end of our session, I know that most of us would like to stay more, and I would love to stay more and spend more time with you guys and girls. But the essence of the story is that, subhanallah, even if you are in a dire situation and you are in a dire need of something, if you give it and share it with others, if you basically put the needs of others ahead of your need, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you with more and more and more. But if you are greedy, and if you just think about yourself and think about, and all you say is me, then you will end up being memed. You will end up being alone. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forget about you. And don't forget, and this is the last thing I want to mention, inshallah, the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Wallahu fi awni al-abd ma kana al-abdu fi awni akhi. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in the aid and the protection and the help of the person who is in the aid, as long as that person is thinking and trying to help others, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be in the help of that kind of person. So let's, inshallah ta'ala, as we are passing through the beautiful days and nights of the month of Ramadan, think of others, think of those who are less fortunate, not only overseas, not only in Yemen and Syria and Libya and other countries, Somalia. Let's think about those who are in need in Palestine. Think of those who are less fortunate in Iraq, in many other places, right? So alhamdulillah, you are blessed. So maybe inshallah ta'ala, what I encourage you all to do, the children who are with us today, inshallah ta'ala, and you can pass this message to others, make a jar, inshallah ta'ala, and collect every day, inshallah ta'ala, put some coins, some money in it, and see how much you can raise, inshallah ta'ala, for the less fortunate people, for the orphans, around the world, inshallah ta'ala. And then you can give it to one of these charity organizations. And inshallah, we can turn this into a competition. So let's see who can raise more, inshallah ta'ala, by the end of Ramadan. In our last halaqah, inshallah ta'ala, we will check with everybody, and I will be checking with you every week, inshallah, to see how much you have raised, inshallah ta'ala. And this is a competition in khair, inshallah, in goodness. There's nothing wrong with it, inshallah ta'ala. And you do your best, even though that, probably your parents are not working. But like I said, selflessness. Remember, putting the needs of others ahead of your need. And if you do that, trust me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be in your aid, and He will give you more and more, inshallah ta'ala. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless each and every one of you. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you in goodness and grant you that which is the best, inshallah, in this life, and give you the highest place in Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you all, and enjoy the rest of your day. And now it's time for you to go and help your mom and dad set up the iftar table, inshallah ta'ala, and enjoy your iftar meal. And remember to make dua for everyone, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Ma'as salam, everyone.